directly off of 3 Louisville errors, and this one is down the left field line into the gap. WKU is going to extend this lead out to 10-5. Lucas Moore swings to the first pitch, grounds it right side. Arroyo's with another great diving play, pitches to first, and this game is over. Third time tonight, a sterling play is
WKU got the big upset win over Power 4 Louisville earlier this week.
And we've got one reporter breaking down what you can expect on the diamond from the top teams in the 4th region.
The softball tops continued their dominance with a big sweep in the 100 Miles of Hate rivalry.
And we've got a great comeback story at the end of the show. Don't miss our EP exclusive on Ryland Smith right here on The Extra Point.
Inside the 10, looks to break the tackle, and he breaks the end zone.
They will keep it on the ground with Wales. Not only will he get the first down, he'll get the touchdown and the championship.
Use it for Rogers for 3 for the win. Western Kentucky does it great.
The grass is red in Kentucky. Holy moly.
The Hilltoppers are champions of Conference USA.
Hope you brought your dentures. Senior citizens are here.
Do we get AARP
Hopefully.
or like disability or something?
We get like 10% off at like Topper Social maybe, you know.
That'd be awesome. A
Yeah.
senior discount at Topper?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. All right, welcome into Studio 2, the home of the Extra Point. Cole McIntire, Gus Warren. Pretty cool day for you.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, so we're going to first dive into our Hilltopper headlines. Gus, grab your hard hat because it is our first headline with a positive construction update here on the Hill. With the ribbon cut, WKU celebrated the dedication of a 122,000 square foot facility. The headliner is a full-length practice football field. The complex also houses Hilltopper Baseball's locker room, weight room, team meeting room, and hitting facility with 4 batting cages. It will also house the forensics team and the esports team, giving the esports squad a competition room and practice room. President Caboni says this project was shared with a decade-long vision between academics and athletics. Love the music on it too. Woo.
Yeah, there's a nice little ring to it. And now we go for some solid construction to destruction of Little Brother as Ryland Smith throws a no-hitter against Middle Tennessee State. Yeah, this has been like the destruction of Hilltopper Hall as Smith posted the 15th no-hitter in program history as the Lady Toppers complete the sweep in a 5-0 win over the Blue Raiders. She posted a season-high 11 strikeouts in the game and the second no-hitter in 20 days following Erica Hogue. This was the first time since 2014 that 2 pitchers threw no-hitters in the same season when Hannah Miniard and Emily Rousseau competed at the feat.
And our final headline gives us an update on Lady Topper basketball. After going 8-21 on the season, WKU Director of Athletics Todd Stewart announced Coach Collins would return for his 9th season. Both Stewart and Collins revealed that multiple donors are increasing their support of the team's NIL fund. Coach Collins will also contribute a portion of his salary towards the program's NIL pool. The head coach ranks 3rd in all-time wins by a Lady Topper head coach, trailing Mary Taylor Cowles and Paul Sanderford. And now that we have a look at all those headlines for you, we're now going to talk about arguably the biggest thing that happened this week at the Nick with WKU baseball winning against Louisville. Lincoln Bryant was there for the action. What did you see in that game?
Dude, you know, just a crazy atmosphere was really the best way to describe it because you saw the momentum based off of the crowd. And it was just phenomenal the way they started off because it started off quickly. 5 hits, 4 runs is what you want to talk about because putting up 4 runs in the first inning against a Power 4 school and the Louisville Cardinals is really impressive. I mean, it's a Tuesday game. Not everybody is always excited about it, but this one was something where a record crowd showed out. You saw the energy. And I mean, only holding Louisville to 6 hits, Cole, that's something you don't really normally see from the top so far this season.
Yep.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed, you kind of talked about that crowd, and I mean, there was energy throughout the day. I mean, they had a tailgate for it before the game. The record crowd, the biggest since 2016, and Caboni was even there getting in on all the festivities. And I feel like they really fed off the energy of that crowd because, I mean, every run scored in that first inning, I mean, they just kept getting louder and louder. I think that was one of the loudest WKU games in general I've ever heard. I mean, I was dialed in. And, I mean, you were dialed in. Big Red was right behind you trying to get you distracted. And, I mean, you were so locked in on the game, and that's why we got this beautiful footage right here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Coach Reardon talked about it. You know, last week it would have been rough for them to come back and struggle against Louisville. But it started out with the dugout being hyped because of the crowd, and that really changed the atmosphere of the game, changed the momentum, because sometimes in games, especially coming off of being swept by Jacksonville State, the momentum's down. And to come out like this, it's what you want to see from the Tops as they head into Sam Houston.
Another thing important to note that this is Hilltopper Baseball's 5th win against a Power 4 team. That's the most since 2011. They've played a tough schedule. How do you think they're handling it so far? I think it was a kind of almost an intentional thing when Coach Reardon scheduled these tough teams. It was intentional to get his team ready for the postseason.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, teams like Cincinnati, teams like Louisville, teams that are playing against Power 4 schools constantly over and over and over again, teams that have been to the College World Series. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you've got to get prepared, especially for their conference schedule, and that's exactly what the Tops have done. I mean, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but especially against the Louisville Cardinals, that win is going to keep them going heading into conference play and will be really impressive to see.
Absolutely, and 5 Power 4 wins, I mean, no matter what, that's an impressive feat in itself. And now let's hear what head coach Mark Reardon had to say after the Tops bounce-back win.
You know, we would have been fighting some real demons if we would have just continued to struggle like we did this last weekend. So to come out, you know, we had a great practice last night, a lot of energy, a lot of positivity about everything, and just to come out and do what we did, just even to start off was, I think, somewhat of a relief for our dugout of being like, okay, here we go now. And so it was good to continue it throughout the game.
5 Power 4 wins, and I mean, no matter how the season goes, I mean, that's an impressive feat of itself.
Yeah, Coach Reardon has really just infused a lot of energy into the program right now. They have a lot of momentum, new field house, new facilities, Conference USA Championship last year. This program seems to be a team that is getting Hilltopper fans really excited, Gus.
Without a doubt, and up next, it's midterm season for students, and we're also handing out report cards.
We're giving our grades on both basketball teams' seasons next on The Extra Point.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
You need some help?
Your toe chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I didn't think we handled that as a championship level mature team, and we lost a little bit of our composure and our discipline at being the best that we could be.
you don't stop running the race in the middle. And they got to be proud with how they closed out their career. Not proud of the win-loss record, not proud of, not being able to compete for a championship, but they competed. And they never gave up. And you've seen players in other teams and just pack it up. And they've kept a pretty positive attitude through some tough times.
Welcome back into the Extra Point. Both men's and women's basketball has wrapped up on the Hill, and both squads had a mixed review. Cole, what's your grade of the men's Hilltopper squad?
When I look at this team, obviously they had a really good stretch in February. It says it on the bottom of your screen. February, they were on fire, and then March, they kind of faded. So I'm going to go with a C+. I think, anyone would tell you that this team wanted to win the Conference USA title. They felt they had the pieces to. Yes, there were some injuries, but they didn't let that stop them. Once they got Tegan Moore back, they beat the top team in the conference in Liberty. They're the first one to hand them a Conference USA loss this season. So this team felt like they could make a run that falls short. They lose in the first round against Kennesaw State. The eventual Conference USA champion, Coach Pettaway, runs a great program. That was a tough game to watch. But again, I feel like they just came up short. The ending left a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah, and I remember back in the 2024 season when they won the conference, it was kind of similar to this season where they kind of faded off towards the end, and then they went on that big run in Huntsville. But with this one, they went on that 5-0 streak, and then they lost the last couple games, and I was thinking, maybe they would make something happen, but it just wasn't meant to be.
And one player that was a key player in that run, like you talked about in February, was none other than Lambda Phi Gamma initiate himself, Tegan Moore.
First one in, last one out.
Lunch pail type of guy. But great game from him. Look, when you look at this season as a whole, I think, honestly, if he was healthy the whole year, he would have a shot to be the Conference USA Player of the Year.
Yeah, if he didn't get hit with that Seamus Broke kick, and that kept him out for a while. You saw what he did in February when he came back, winning 5 straight. There's no telling what would have happened if he would have stayed in, those games earlier in the year.
Yeah. I think it was a 1-2 punch between him and Grant Newell on the offensive end. When you look at what Tegan Moore was able to do, he's able to hit the 3. You just saw that on your screen, but he can also take it to the rack, go in for 2, get and 1 buckets like you're seeing right there. He is a player that was able to play in multiple facets, but now that we have given our final grades of the semester for the men's team, Gus, what's your analysis for the Lady Toppers?
When you look at the win-loss record, it didn't look great. And, they had the successful 3-game win streak. But other than that, I'm going to have to really give them a D here. Yeah. You see the 8-21 record, but, you have that high point with the 3-game win streak in mid-February. But still, they missed out on that Conference USA tournament. And there was a lot of question around if Coach Greg Collins would come back or if he would get let go. Yeah. And they finally brought him back. So, they're in it for the long haul. And I think, with him donating his salary to the NIL fund for the upcoming season, I think he's ready to come back, with a vengeance. Yeah, a portion of that going to the NIL fund, I think that's big. I think also what you're seeing is there's going to be a little bit maybe more emphasis on younger players getting freshmen, recruiting high school players, getting them to sign instead of leaning on transfers. You already see them getting one from Assumption this postseason, so that's going to be a key player for them. But like you said, Gus, I really think that them increasing the support from the administration towards the Lady Topper basketball program. Look, they said the standard is this. They want to win 20 games. They want to have 20 win seasons. They want to stack those. Coach Collins is well aware of that being the key part of what they want to do. But a key player in that run has been Trinity Rowe. Gus, talk to me about Trinity and what she brought to the table. Yeah, the former Kentucky Miss Basketball, in a season that really, had a lot of ups and downs, she was a constant 10.8 points per game and a sniper from beyond the arc. That was one of the reasons they went and got her, was she shot 42.2% from 3 this season. And she was solid on the defensive end, averaging 1.5 steals per game. And she had her best game of the year in the final game of the season when she dropped 24 on Florida International. There was a lot of, downside of the season, but, Trinity Rowe, she was able to really keep things going and keep a spark going on the court when she played. Yeah, and you just saw it on your screen there. The multiple buzzer beaters. Yeah. Just dominating our EP top 5 throughout the whole basketball season. I feel like we had Trinity Rowe and Kate Hardy every single show. Yeah, I'm taking Trinity Rowe buzzer beater on DraftKings all the time. There you go. Love it. All right, so the temperatures are rising, and so are the baseball tops. WKU Baseball is taking a road trip to Huntsville, Texas to face a Conference USA foe. We'll break that down next on the Extra Point.
was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick, on and off the field. We were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20-plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains.
There's no sparks.
But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Lineup for average on the season. He puts a piece on this one to right center. It's over the edge, all the way back to the wall, and the Hilltoppers have a 2-0 lead. Back-to-back doubles. Hayes with a second. Fires in the pitch.
There you go.
Into left field and through. One in for WKU. They're going to hold a runner at third, but the Hilltoppers get one back. Payoff. This one is crushed into left field. It's over the head of the left fielder and down. One will score, make it 2 off the double from Kyle Hayes.
Coming off that big upset win over Louisville, Gus, what do the Tops have to do to keep that ball rolling against Sam Houston?
I think one thing they're going to have to do is really keep those bats going like they were in the Louisville game. And, you know, one thing I noticed was cheap beverages get the bats going good. They're going to have to try to get over that with Sam Houston because they're going to be on the road. But this is something they're going to have to try and keep going. And this is a team that is perfectly mid, like Thanos says, perfectly balanced like everything should be. But they give up they have a 4.61 ERA, so they're giving up almost 5 runs a game and a 2.43 batting average. I think one thing they're going to have to carry over from that Louisville game is they're going to have to really control the mound once again and just get the bats going, hit with some gas because they're also allowing 29 home runs a game. So I think they're going to have to really pick on this pitching unit and really just, you know, have another 10-run game over the weekend and really just take it over.
And Sam Houston is a lot like Western in the fact they're coming off a midweek win. They're going to want to carry that into their homestand. But Gus, what is one person that this team is going to have to shut down? If you're the scouting report, if you're on the scouting team for Coach Reardon, who's the guy? You're giving him his bio and saying you got a plan for him.
I am going to slam down a paper, and it's going to have public enemy #1 stamped on it, and it is going to say Hunter Alvord. He is going to be the guy they need to look out for. A 239 batting average, but 15 RBIs. This is a situational runner. He has 22 runs scored on the season and 28 putouts. This is the guy that the Tops are going to have to look at to really control on the mound. You know, can't really get him on base, can't let him make contact because usually he's going to drive somebody in.
Yeah, and, you know, when we look, we're going to talk a little bit about Conference USA, but when you look at this team and this matchup specifically, I think you want to see this team try to win at least 2. You know, try to win these series, but another player to look out for is Jarrett Curtis. He's a team that leads offensively. He hits .364. He scored 18 runs, 28 hits, 8 RBIs. That's another player that you're going to have to look out for on the batter's box.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with those two, and then, you know, the pitching in the Louisville game was solid. You know, they gave up 5 runs, but, they scored 10 themselves. Yeah. That's something they're really going to have to, take over.
Mm-hmm. And now as the Tops look to defend their conference title, Gus and I are going to share some teams that Hilltopper fans should look out for. Gus, who is your team to watch in Conference USA play.
My team to watch in Conference USA is a team that's already swept the tops earlier in the season. I think that left a bad taste in Mark Radon's mouth, and that is the Jacksonville State. That's Jacksonville State. A 294 batting average with 25 home runs scored on the season and a 3.69 ERA. But my thing, Cole, is they have 5 players batting 300 or higher. That is very efficient hitting for offensively.
Yeah, they're a team that had success in the Conference USA tournament last year. They obviously didn't win the whole thing, but they had success. They're a team that is hungry, that wants to come back. And another thing to mention, too, when you're Western, you already have the target on your back. You are the defending Conference USA champions. So when you go into a place like Jacksonville State, they're going to send their best. You're going to get everyone's best from here on out because of the target you have on your back.
Yeah, and that's the one thing you said, you're going to have the target on your back. And honestly, in some ways, it's a good thing you got swept this early in the season because whenever conference play rolls around again and you get into the tournament, you know what they're capable of, you know what they're best at, and you can really take that over and pick that apart. And I think with this Louisville win earlier in the week, they're really going to be able to build off of that. And I think, you might be able to see a little bit of a run going on with the Tops coming the rest of the season.
Another team that I think Hilltopper fans should look out for is Missouri State. They're a team that has perennial success. They're one of the top teams in Conference USA. I think they're tied for 3rd right now in league standings. But this team, they can hit the ball really well. They're top at the league in batting average, in slugging. They're 2nd in home runs. But here's the thing I think fans should know. This is a team and a program that has had conference success. When they were in the Missouri Valley Conference for 8 years, them and Dallas Baptist combined for 14 of the possible 16 regular season and conference tournament championships. So those are 2 teams that are really good. Obviously, Dallas Baptist, that's another team you could throw in there that the Tops have to look out for. But when you look at the Bears, they're a team that knows how to win games. They're also playing one of the toughest schedules in the nation. They rank 5th in RPI in the nation, and they played the 14th toughest schedule in the nation. Their opponents have a combined winning percentage of 63%. So this is a team that is putting themselves in the spotlight against some caliber opponents.
Yeah, and I mean, that championship pedigree is also really something to look at. These are the 2 teams I feel like WKU, along with DBU, that are really going to be, somebody they're going to compete with and they're going to have to look at. And now it is time to move from the NIC to the softball complex.
Coach Tudor and the Hilltopper softball team swept another Conference USA foe. We'll break down who is key in that stretch.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Jacksonville State. This one hammered to left center field, and that one is gone. Hogue delivers home and struck her out. Really tightened things up as of late until that hit. Call the car insurance companies. That ball into the parking garage.
Cole McIntire alongside Gus Moore, and welcome back to the Action Point. I want a chain.
Yeah, can we get an EP chain, and it like spins around like the John Cena chain from the 2000s?
Yeah. I want like Brad Franger's face on it.
Yeah, and then like the mouth opens, so it's like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh no. You didn't know I could do that, did you?
All All right, so the Lady Topper softball team has continued to roll through this season. They've got another sweep of that team 100 miles away, the MTSU Blue Raiders. Gus, what did you see in that series?
They swept my alma mater, and I mean, they beat them down. And we talked about earlier, you know, that the construction on WKU's campus, this is them kind of like they demolished Hilltopper Hall. That's what WKU did to Middle Tennessee. They swept Little Brother once again, nothing new there. And that Ryland Smith no-hitter was impressive. But another thing that we need to look at is the fact that the softball team hit 368 over the weekend. I mean, that is impressive. They were hitting with great efficiency, and that led them to 54-37 all-time against MTSU. And this is kind of like the Lakers and Celtics. Is this even a rivalry anymore?
You know, no comment. I think I'm just going to stay there with that. I'm going to play it safe. But yes, I think this is, you know, a really good series. Build your confidence for your squad. This is a team that has Conference USA title hopes. They want to continue doing that.
Absolutely, and this series was just another classic tops beatdown of the Blue Raiders, but one player to keep that kept the bats going over the weekend was none other than Kendall White. And we kind of talked about that 368 batting average. She hit for 600 over the weekend with 4 RBIs and 3 stolen bases. She was 3 for 3 on that. Yeah. Absolute dog. Can we get a bark?
DAWG.
That's
Eat a W.
Eating W's like Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
And she's stealing bases too?
Yeah.
But I mean, she's not getting caught. Or throwing interceptions.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. But I think when you look at this team, what they want to do this season, Liberty last year, who won the Conference USA title, they had 5 pitchers with an ERA of under 3. I think WKU wants to put some more players in that in their bullpen. They want to, you know, continue to get better defensively. And then you will look on the offensive side of the ball. I think, you know, you have to have multiple players that can hit. That's something that I want to see kind of step up as they continue to find their confidence, find their footing. The season is still very early, so obviously you're not sounding any alarm bells, but you want this team to have multiple options, not just your stars, but other players that help support.
Yeah, I think you're really going to need to see depth offensively and defensively, and really in that on the circle too. You know, Ryland Smith and Erica Hogue, they're doing their thing, but I think we're going to need to see a little more from that bullpen as well. But as we go later in the season, and let's see what head coach Amy Tudor had to say on the Tops performance against the Blue Raiders.
You know, I mean, credit to Ryland. Thought she had great command of her pitches, good command of her off speed as well as her movement pitches. Probably not the hardest she's thrown, if I'm being honest, but it was moving and it was very effective. She was able to change planes. I think that was really big. Like, great defense behind her. We scored enough runs. I thought Jenna and Kendall both leading off were huge, and you know, Katie Murphy got a key hit. Mo was 2 for 3, I think. I mean, there's just a lot of people that did different things. Macy started that inning where he scored all those runs, and you know, it takes a little pressure off the circle.
How do I get that job from the guy in the background just driving around? I want that job.
I feel like it's the best job. It's like a Zamboni, but you're on the dirt. That seems so cool.
Okay. All right. The Lady Tops are traveling down to Las Cruces for a series against the Aggies. Gus, what are the keys for them to win?
This is another perfectly mid team, like Thanos says, perfectly balanced. But I think the one thing here, the keys to win, you know, that you see that 5.77 ERA. They've really got to get the bats going once again, and you know that 16-16 record with 6-3 in Conference USA. That's also because they strength the schedule. They're 104th in the country. You know, WKU's what, 56, 54?
56
in the country. And I mean, I think that's something they're really going to take advantage of. And then this is the first-year head coach with New Mexico State. I think this is all kind of setting up for WKU to really win the weekend, but this is also something they really can't look over. This could be like a trap.
Yeah, I mean, they're both tied for 3rd in Conference USA. Another thing about this New Mexico State team, they have 16 players returning from last year's squad. So they have a lot of returning offense. They have a lot of returning defense. This is a team that wants to win games in the Conference USA tournament. But one player the Lady Toppers will have to look out for is the Aggies outfielder, Devin Elam. What'd you see for her, Gus?
I mean, she is a very efficient hitter. She hits 400 on the season with 9 home runs, so she hits with some authority. And she has 28 RBIs, so she can really get players around the bases. And, you know, those home runs help a lot, and she can really drive people in. A kind of a selfless player, and then she also has a .422 on base percentage.
And then another player that I think they should look out for is Tamara Carranza. She was the rating Conference USA Player of the Week. She had a cycle last week that's pretty impressive, so that's another player to look out for. But again, this series, they are going to want to build on that success. They've got a lot of confidence. It's now how do you respond on the road against one of the top teams in Conference USA, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, like you said, they're both tied for 3rd. This is a battle for 3rd place to try to, you know, get better placing as the tournament goes on. This is going to be an interesting one to look at.
And so now 2-7-0, they canceled their show this week. Probably shouldn't have, fired a certain producer, right?
Yeah, it's almost like you were right the entire time. But instead of meeting in the newsroom, we're meeting at the desk with reporter Lincoln Bryant to give you the latest high school sports coverage in the 14th District next on the Extra Point.
A lot of my friends told me that I wasn't going to be able to do it. You don't need to start out with a teenager because they've had all these things that they've gone through.
Could we give him the things he needed to be a successful adult?
What parent isn't worried about, what am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough?
That's my son.
My dad showcased a sense of love that I never had before.
I had a rough time, but I saw that even though the way I was acting, they didn't push me away.
She says that we're her heroes, but she's also mine.
I've had 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
How you guys raised me is absolutely amazing. And I really appreciate that.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
The clock is up, and we're ready for 2-7. It's Friday afternoon, not Friday night, right?
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's not happening this week,
It's been a day, man. But anyways, we're not talking high school football. We're not talking high school basketball. We're going to the Diamond to talk some high school baseball. We got our ace, Mr. Ball Knower himself, Lincoln Bryant here. And you going to tell me about the 4th region?
Dude, it's going to be a different year this year. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's going to be different. Lincoln, can you kind of tell me who is your favorite to win the region this year?
My favorite to win the region this year, but I'll tell you about my favorite pitching unit first, Gus, and that's the Greenwood Gators, because this team is coming in with 7 total seniors on the roster as well. But along with that, you've got 4 seniors coming out of the bullpen. So, I mean, you got the experience in the bullpen that's different from last year's team. 28-7, so a solid record. They had the 1 seed, Gus. They had it. But then they lost in the semifinal. So this year, I feel like it's just an experience difference that's going to carry this team all the way as well. They have 4 impactful seniors that they lost. That included Zach Davis, the Louisville commit, as well. And so far this season, a 5-2 start. Taking a shutout loss to Franklin Simpson's tough, but I feel like this team getting down the line is going to improve and stay consistent.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it yourself. They lost early in the region tournament last year. I think they kind of left a sour taste in their mouth. And, I mean, really, I feel like if I'm Greenwood, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to do whatever I can to, right that wrong from the year before.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like the team that's really going to cause them a lot of trouble this year, that's the Bowling Green Purples, because this team, I feel like, is the best in that 14th region because of the seniority that they have and the regret of last year's season, fighting through adversity, and they didn't even make the region tournament last year. 20-12, 4-3 in the district last year, and so that was just tough. So I feel like this season, they started out 3-0, good win over Logan County, and then a big win over OCATH. And I feel like some of the guys you have to look at is Colt Eisenberg. You hear that name, Eisenberg, and you think of the coach, but guess what? Colt Eisenberg is a sophomore son, and he's got a 5.56 average so far, Gus. That's just phenomenal. And then as a team, they're hitting 400. So I feel like, it's the hitting that's there for them, and then their ERA is just 2.3. So I feel like they kind of have the pieces all put together, kind of different than this Greenwood team. So I feel like Bowling Green has the advantage when they come to play so far in the district.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed was those 7 seniors, and yeah, they didn't make the region tournament last year, and they know how it felt to not make it. And I feel like that experience and seniority on the squad will really help them as the season winds down. And Lincoln, I feel like are you gonna tell me about the South Warren Spartans next?
Unfortunately not, Gus.
Whoa, you're the biggest homer.
You say the seniority difference. They lost 11 seniors from last year's team, so this is a completely different South Warren Spartans team. But I really have to bring up somebody else that I feel like, a different side of things that's not in the 14th district. It's from the 13th district, Gus, and that's the Franklin Simpson Wildcats.
Do tell.
This team, they were decent last year, the 6-3 in the district and the 22-14 record. This team was solid last year, but I feel like now this team's different. They've got special players. You see the bullpen right there, the 1.35 ERA so far. And let me just talk to you about some of them. You got senior Brady Delk. He's got 8 innings pitched, no runs, and he's also doing it in the batter's box with the .467 batting average. And then also he's got that home run as well. And then you got the junior Easton Kelly. I mean, a guy who's thrown 16 innings already, Gus. Guess what that ERA is? A 1.3. So I feel like it's just this Franklin team has special bullpen. They have a special bullpen. They have special hitters, and I feel like that can push them past the 13th district. That is really hard to get through, and I feel like they'll make it there this year.
Yeah, I'm really hearing you out, and I like the pitching unit they've got. I think that 1.35 ERA is that's really solid, especially for high school. And I think with high school, it comes down to pitching and how many runs you can put on the board. And Franklin Simpson seems to do that really well. And Lincoln, you got one more school. Let's hear it.
I know a lot of people are going to not want to see what I'm about to say because they're going to say, Lincoln, you're totally wrong.
Oh, dear.
Because look at last season. But now it's a different school. They have the seniority, Gus, and it's the Allen County Scottsville Patriots.
Whoa!
Yes, I said it. 8-23 last year.
Whoa.
It's a different year this year, Gus. I mean, they've already got half of the wins they got last year.
Yeah.
4-0 already. And they're hitting .313 on the year. That's really impressive. And then again, we've talked about it. When you look at these teams, you look at who has the experience, and Allen County Scottsville does, and with the 7 seniors. I mean, and I also really like to talk about the Toe brothers, the TOWE. They're towing it all the way because you got Noah Toe and Keegan Toe.
Which one's Big Toe and which one's Little Toe?
Well, one of them's a sophomore, and Keegan Toe's a senior. He's hitting 500.
So he's Big Toe?
He's Big Toe with the 500 average. And then you got Noah Toe, who's hitting .467, and he's also on the bump with the 10 innings pitch and the .7 ERA, Gus.
There
so
you
this
go,
team,
Little Toe.
This team's a little bit different than what you normally see out of Allen County Scottsville. I feel like they will continue to go and be way better team than they were last year because along with that, you have a struggling district as well. So I feel like, Warren East isn't having that good of a year, and you've got Barron County struggling so far. So I feel like Allen County Scottsville could be that team out of that region or out of that district that makes it all the way.
Yeah, I'm going to hear you out because, 4 wins already. They had 8 wins last year. That's very impressive. And those 7 seniors, I feel like that seniority a lot in high school sports in general is something that's looked over quite a bit. And now that all that boring stuff's over, sorry, Lincoln, not sorry,
Boo.
It's time for delay a game. And Tyler's going to try to beat me. He's not going to beat me. He's going to get out of the graveyard. This is going to be must-see TV next on the Extra Point.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to the Extra Point. It's time for the segment that actually pays the bills around here. A quick reminder, each contestant will have 40 seconds to argue their points without interruption. And after that, the gloves are off. I'm joined by Gus Warren, Tyler Fernandez. It's March Madness, so we've talked enough about baseball. Let's talk about some basketball.
Please.
And let's start with the simple question. Who is going to be the national champion this year? Gus, I will start.
I can't wait to hear this answer.
Yeah. So
That's Tyler.
But yeah, you know what? Go ahead and show that, Tyler, because well, we had a little mishap. We had a little oopsie. My national champion was the Houston. Yeah. They had
lost, though.
Yeah. I know. They had a easier run to the national title. Kingston Flemings is him.
Not playing.
Yeah, he's on the couch. Elite defense, the number 2 scoring defense in the country. Outscoring opponents by 20 plus per game. They lost by 10 to Illinois last night. Tyler, you know what? You can laugh all you want. That's the only win you're going to get.
Gus, if this was your audition, you would
it was probably
not
better than
be
my
welcome
audition
back
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and give you this one right there because you shot yourself in the foot with this one, man. Because you apparently decided to pick a team that was playing last night. I picked a team that was actually playing tonight. That's still in the tournament right now. It's Duke Blue Devils. All right, Cam Boozer, dude, he is elite right now. I mean, #1 overall pick, leads the team in scoring, rebounding. I mean, he just does it all. And the Blue Devils, they're getting healthy at the right time. They're expected to get their point guard back, and Patrick Ngamba II has also returned in the game against TCU. They got the 3rd best defense in the country. I mean, so even though at times their offense hasn't produced, they've gotten their defense the job done as well. And then they got better depth. They got Caden Boozer on that team as well as Darren Harris. So I really like this Duke team. They're in the toughest region, though, in March Madness, but I really like Duke winning it all this year.
You know, you could have chosen a lot of other teams, and you went with the Duke Blue Devils. You know, a team that almost lost.
Hyena?
You got, my friend. You got no room to talk.
Is that Ed the Hyena
you got
from
no
the Lion
room to
King?
talk.
Tyler, it's my turn. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't reach across this desk and strangle you right now, Tyler Fernandez.
1986, Illinois did not even attempt the free throw. They got out-rebounded on the glass.
You chose a team that almost lost to Siena in the first round and barely beat TCU.
They might beat TCU by 23.
Yeah, 23 points, and it was way too close for way too long.
Kingston Flemings is him, you said. He only had 11 points last night against Illinois.
He's better than Caden Boozer's brother.
No. And speaking of Kingston Fleming and the entire team, you talked about that elite defense, you said, right?
Yeah.
No, they allowed 43% from the field, 39% from 3. And you said, oh, they've been blowing the crap teams out. Oh, no, sorry, they lost by 10. They lost by 10.
Hey, I got a $20 right here.
They lost, son. They
lost. To the man with the spiky hair.
They got, Kelvin Sampson was the one that did the selling last night for the Cougs.
Ooh, that was good. That was a good comeback.
You can't do that.
That was a good comeback.
No, you cannot do that, man.
I'll give you this round, Tyler, but you're not going to win the next 2.
Yeah, I'm going to let you keep that.
You know, we're going to keep that in the middle because I'm going to go 2-1.
No, we're not keeping the middle of the table. That belongs to you for that topic.
That's good. Good stuff there. So what is the biggest disappointment so far this year, Gus? Not your pick, since you already, had to call it biggest disappointment with the pick in Houston. Who is the biggest disappointment in the tournament?
So there's a lot of ways you could go with this, but I'm going to go with Florida. The reigning national champions, the 1 seed that lost to a 9 seed, got absolutely embarrassed by a bunch of nerds in Vanderbilt during the SEC tournament. They made Kentucky look like world beaters. They only beat Kentucky by single digits in the SEC tournament, and Boogie Fland absolutely disappeared in that round of 32 game, and they once again got bit by the national championship curse. What'd you say, Tyler? The Gators chomp chomp. The national championship curse gave a little chomp chomp to them as I don't think the national champion has made it past the first round of the Sweet 16 in a good while.
Interesting. Tyler? Interesting pick. But you have to look at, the way I looked at this was expectations. And this team's expectation is that you are supposed to be competing for a national championship every single year that you play. And that disappointment is North Carolina. All right, they lost to 11 seed VCU. Last time I checked, they were up by as many as 19. And they were just a straight up full-on meltdown mode. They couldn't score. They couldn't play defense. they couldn't do a darn thing. Cole said the offense sucked, the defense sucked, the whole team sucked. And they've been ousted in the first round 3 of the last 5 seasons.
God.
And outside of Florida, I'm pretty sure Todd Golden still has his job. Gilbert Davis, last time I checked, he's no longer employed.
Tyler.
He's no longer employed at the University of North Carolina.
You have expectations for the North Carolina Tar Heels in the 2020s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, come on. Let me literally say
what have they done since Roy Williams retired?
They've made to the national championship game his first
and
year.
They blew a 15-point lead to Kansas. And what have they done since that? What have they done since that national championship game?
No, they haven't. The reason I'm saying North Carolina
every year. What happened in 2023 when they were the #1 ranked team in the country, and then Caleb Love started messing around with R.J. Davis' girlfriend, and they missed out on the tournament altogether?
Well, then that's his fault.
Davis can't control his players. He can't control his team.
That's on the players.
Is an off-brand
on the players. They lost to a group of 5 team. North Carolina lost to a group of 5 teams.
Yeah, they lost to a group of 5 teams.
And
you were just talking about how they had. You were talking about how they had championship aspirations.
Their expectation is to go to the national championship every year. That doesn't mean they have championship expectations.
Wouldn't know a national championship if it bit him in the foot.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Hey, last time I checked, I'm asking you this question. What is VCU in? What conference are they in?
Does anybody really care?
A-10.
A-10.
They lost. And
here's our
Iowa is a Big Ten.
We got to get to our final topic. We got to let you talk some more. Okay. So for our final topic, Gus, who is on upset watch besides Houston?
They did get upset with the Duke Blue
Cancun
Devils.
on 3.
The Duke Blue Devils are going to be in Cancun right next to the Houston and Kelvin Sampson. White Suit Rick is going to strike again, and he is going to slay those Blue Devils, and St. John's is going to wipe the floor with them. Zuby Ejiofor is going to lock down in the paint. I don't think Cameron Boozer is going to get much down there. He's going to lose to the Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And Duke has looked very beatable this year in the tournament. I mean, the Siena game showed me enough. And I don't care that TCU, they beat TCU by 20. Whoop-de-doo, it's TCU. You know, Georgia beat them by a bajillion points in football. Who cares about TCU? But St. John's, you are not going to beat White Suit Rick.
All right, well, I think there's one team that has been bit by the injury bug. It's going to ultimately come back to bite them in the tuchus. That's Iowa State. Iowa State lost their all-defensive All-American and Josh Jefferson. He's out with an ankle injury. And plus, their defense at times, yes, like they're top 10 in the country or whatever, but they allowed a big lead early on Kentucky. Literally, they were down 20-9 at one point. And Gillespie and Ament for Tennessee, they are a problem. And there's one thing I will say. Do not underestimate Rick Barnes and those Volunteers in the NCAA tournament because they got a good squad, man. You cannot sleep on Tennessee, man.
I'm sleeping
you gotta
on Tennessee.
be careful.
I'm sleeping like a baby on Rocky Flop.
Okay. All right. Well,
what has Tennessee ever done in the tournament?
They made it to the Elite Eight.
Not the Final Four.
That's as far as they've been, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's the farthest
they've always been a consistent team that's gotten deep every year.
And consistency doesn't win you national championships, buddy.
Okay, so what? Because the thing is,
you know who knows how to win championships? White Suit Rick.
No.
White Suit
He might be dressed up for his own funeral tonight.
He's not wearing black, Tyler. He's wearing all white.
You think that's what you think?
You got another L over there? Well, I got this.
Oh, dude, I got 3 because you can't spell Louisville without 3 L's.
I'm not a Louisville fan. I'm a Kentucky fan, buddy.
Yeah, you're from Louisville. That's my point. That's my point, man. Wow. That's what you think. Here's my thing with Iowa State. They've been a little bit more suspect, man, because they've allowed these teams to get out to big leads, especially a team that has underperformed, that have so ticked off their fan base like Kentucky.
Fun stuff. All right, up next we've got a comeback story from one of the top pitchers for WKU softball. Learn Ryland Smith's story next on The Extra Point.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first-round draft pick on and off the field. We were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating, but I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains.
There's no sparks.
But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back into the Extra Point. We all know what it's like to sit on the sidelines waiting for our shot. WKU softball pitcher Rylan Smith knows that feeling firsthand. Sports director Brandon Stafford met with the star pitcher to learn more about her journey from the dugout to the circle.
One pitch could do it. The 3-2. Got her! The second strikeout in 20 days for the WKU Hilltoppers comes in the form of a 10-strikeout performance.
She is a competitor.
Rylan Smith delivers a complete game no-hitter.
She wants to be there. She wants to be the one with the ball, so.
What a day for the junior out of Nolensville, Tennessee.
I think it's absolutely propelling us forward. Her success, like this early in the season, is absolutely gonna, keep us going.
There's a reason why everything happened the way it did. I had surgery in June of 2025. I had my first doctor's appointment back and my knee was stuck at like 90 degrees. I couldn't bend it at all. I could not really walk very well. After my first doctor's appointment, when we were like, well, we've got to find a way, we resulted starting in August. I had PT twice a day. Eventually things still weren't panning out. I could barely break 100 bending my knee, and so then I decided to have manipulation surgery in August. That was insane. Her schedule that she had going on every day, like living with her, I saw there was not a moment of free time. There was not a moment of sitting down, of doing anything. Her determination to get back to what she was doing, I think, showed me, as a player, how much, in a sense, how much I should love what I'm doing because she loves it so much. I like that spot though. Hey, that's a good distance.
She is the ultimate competitor, and so once she made up her mind she was coming back, I knew she would get there.
I think just telling myself to rely on the people around me, God's plan, and the people around me, God put in my life for a reason. So that would be what I'd probably tell myself.
Those are some of my favorite stories, those comeback stories of players that were sidelined and then they come back, and not only are they just playing the sport they love, they are succeeding in it once again. I think that's a big confidence boost when you see one of your teammates come through with that.
Yeah, and I want to point it out. A few weeks ago when I anchored with Eli Thompson, I called that she was going to be the conference comeback player of the year, and a no-hitter last week, and she's getting back right into that form that she was, almost like the injury never happened.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, and that's something that I think that she will remember, her teammates will remember. Those kinds of stories are what we love telling here at the Extra Point, and we're thankful to be able to do those here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like you said, it's just inspirational because she worked really hard to get back to that point.
2 days a week of PT.
Yeah, that's insane.
I can't go to the gym 2 times a week. So,
real.
Yeah. All right. This show is ending soon. That's a positive or negative, depending on how you look at it.
Positive? Up next, it's a new segment on the show. Hear what captions we're making next on the Extra Point.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back inside Studio 2. Cole McIntire alongside Gus Warren. Gus, when was the last time you touched a camera?
About a couple hours ago.
Nice. So you're perfectly ready for our new segment, Caption This. Explain it.
Really?
Yeah.
Every week, our EP photo team will send us pictures from the week and make our anchor caption their best frames. Here is our first picture. Whoa, ho.
I know. This is me announcing my return to Hilligan's tonight for the Beat the Clock promotion because there's no 270 tonight.
Absolutely.
I'm back.
Yeah, that's me too after a long night and then showing up again the next day. Also, I feel like this is like Chancellor Palpatine whenever he's addressing the Republic and he's going to turn into the Empire.
I remember when this happened, and what people don't know is everyone like within 100 yards just turned around and looked at us. Just like, what do these people do? Still to this day, I cannot give them an answer. All right, picture number 2. Let's see what it is.
Oh, dear.
Ooh, it's Lord Farquaad.
Oh, look at that jawline. Like, he is looks maxing
Exquisite.
right now, bro. Like, that is, I mean, such symmetry
right there. Oh, we know that guy.
Yeah.
And up next, that's my G right there.
There's only one G in that picture, though.
Yeah.
But
you're the OG, though.
Yeah. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It's like, so, I'm in the middle. I'm like the husband that just wants to leave the restaurant. And then the left and the right is the worker that got the order wrong. And the right is the girlfriend that's arguing for the husband because they didn't get the food right.
That's good. All right. Now it's time to reveal our top 3 plays of the week. Gus, what's our top play?
We're coming in with number 3. Kyle Hayes hits a double to bring 1 run in. And this started that 5-hit, 4-run first inning for WKU against Louisville. This was so good that this was such a solid inning that Louisville had to make a pitching switch in the first inning.
I like it a lot. Now another top play that I want to talk about, coming in at number 2, Katie Murphy, better coverage than Geico. I mean, give Katie an NIL deal with Geico. I think she can. I can't jump that high. Can you?
I can't either. If I tried it, you could probably fit a deck of cards under my feet, but that's probably about it.
There you go.
And then coming in at number 1, we have Cole Kuzma, not Kyle, hitting the homer over the left field wall against Warren East as the South Warren Spartans pick up a dub. Look at that. I mean, straight gas. I mean, that one wasn't coming back. And I mean, I guess the outfielder could have tried for like a little Bo Jackson over the fence, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, here's my favorite part. Wait for it. Oh, they took it away.
We're not going to see the hammer getting put down?
We're not going to see the hammer.
Hammer down. Oh, man.
All right, Gus. Well, this is like your final time anchoring.
Yeah.
EP.
It's a little sentimental, man, but we all got to move on at some point.
We all got to move on. But you're going to be on air. He's going to be on air for the final show. Don't miss it. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next week.
And as always, at the Extra Point, it is up
and it's good.